imagine that big names in finance like BlackRock and Vanguard are actually thinking about using XRP for their international transactions. Don't worry, things will get better. BlackRock is rumored to be releasing an ETF that will focus on XRP. Yes, you heard that right. But Larry.Thankx did even more. He's now looking at the $30.00 trillion real estate market. Can you guess what the future holds for it? That's right. The XRP system is ready to turn everything into tokens. The International Swaps and Traders Association is also going to send a big $120.00 quadrillion through the XRP system and ripple it. It's not just $10,000.00 per XRP. That's just a joke. The value of each XRP could go through the roof. Roof that costs up to $60,000.00. Wow, that's really cool. Let's move on to the next part. Larry.Thankx of BlackRock came up with another big surprise. He's not just talking. Things are about to get really big for Ripple and its digital currency, XRP. This part of the movie has a clip that will get people's attention. BlackRock's move toward an XRP ETF was confirmed by Larry.Thankx himself. Let's not wait any longer. Feel free to watch this clip now. Adding a Bitcoin ETF is one way that we're making it official and making things safer. Do you have another ETF? What about an XRP ETF? You have Ether out there, I know that. What about XRP? Could you answer that I can't? Yes, I'm afraid I can. They're making fun of me. There have been a lot of strange events in the crypto world lately, mostly with XRP. Think about this crypto.com. But XRP's value went through the roof and hit an amazing $43,000 on the world famous market. This isn't a one-time event. It's part of a rising trend of XRP's value going up without warning. Remember last week when we talked about a $7,000.00 XRP bug at a major exchange? Well, now it's Crypto.com's turn, and it looks like these sudden price jumps for XRP are happening all the time on different markets. I learned from a lot of research that is just as interesting, but has nothing to do with BlackRock or the XRP market surge in general. We're going to talk about Gary Gensler, the famous former SEC head who replaced Jay Clinton. As most of you may already know, Gensler always classifies XRP as a security. This is where things get interesting. Gary Gensler has an identical twin brother named Robert M. They are the same age and look a lot alike. Robert is the vice president of Troll Price, which is a very important company. If you look a little more closely, you'll see that Troll Price is one of the biggest investment firms, putting a lot of money into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and yes, XRP. The head of the SEC, Gary Gensler, keeps calling XRP a security, but his twin brother works for an investment firm that has a lot of money invested in XRP and other cryptocurrencies. It's an interesting contrast that makes me think about how complicated the world of cryptocurrency investments and laws is. Next, let's look at an exciting option. What does Robert Gensler, vice president of Troll Price, know about XRPs? Potential that no one else does. He knows a lot about Bitcoin and Ethereum. When you consider how much the company has spent in these three cryptocurrencies, this idea starts to make sense. The SEC says their investigations into market manipulation and insider trading have often shown that the SEC isn't doing things the right way. It looks like a pattern is forming. It seems like SEC employees are telling their family and friends about which digital assets might soon no longer be considered stocks. When the asset is officially declared a non-security, its value goes through the roof, making the SEC employees and their family and friends rich by buying low and selling high. In this case, let's think about the possibility that Robert N. Gensler got inside information from his brother Gary Gensler about how the SEC might lose a case against XRP. With this kind of information, Congress might be bound to, as the troll price sends more money into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most importantly, XRP, it adds another layer to the story. People in the cryptocurrency community are talking a lot about how XRP could reach unbelievable highs, like $10,000.00. Analysts who have been bullish on XRP, like Jack the Rippler, think its value will skyrocket and could even go over $5,890.00. This prediction is very bold, but it shows how much people are interested in and guessing about XRP and its possibilities in the cryptocurrency market. Wall Street wants a piece of the XRP pie because it's so profitable. And I think an XRP ETF will be the first big move play. But let's take a deeper look at this change than just the surface. An expert for Crypto Basic tells us that JP Morgan has made a big move into XRP, which has caught the attention of a former head of Ripple. This discovery made me raise an eyebrow. We need to talk about it. And this is how the story goes. Some people were upset when Ben Armstrong, who used to work for the BitBoy crypto brand, said that JP Morgan supposedly invested in XRP. But this led an ex-Ripple director to respond. Armstrong, who is well known in the crypto world, wrote a series of posts about this in which he says that JP Morgan has bought 7.5 million XRP tokens. Now, Armstrong says that this move is worth about 7.5% of all of JP Morgan's wealth. But wait, this math doesn't make any sense. To show you how much 7.5% million XRP is worth right now, $4.46 million is a small amount compared to JP Morgan's wealth. Armstrong's math doesn't quite work out when you think about how much money JP Morgan has. $3,890,000,000.00 as of 2023. However, Armstrong stresses how important it is that JP Morgan is supposedly hoarding XRP as part of a plan. He thinks this makes JP Morgan an up-and-coming Bitcoin powerhouse. This is the first time we've heard that big of a claim. Wall Street banks like JP Morgan might want to get involved in crypto, especially with XRP, even if the math doesn't quite add up. It's important to think about the idea that big banks might get involved in crypto. This is part of a larger trend where digital currencies and regular banks are coming together. And XRP is at the center of some very interesting changes. Strong's harsh words have also drawn attention to BlackRock, which is the biggest name in asset management. People are angry that he says BlackRock is now interested in XRP for its range of assets after getting its iShares Bitcoin ETF approved. Armstrong is also paying close attention to the ongoing court case between Ripple and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. He thinks that the fact that big financial firms are investing in XRP while the case is still going on shows that they believe in XRP's